Okay, we're back with Ashley and we're going to do some shots just with one single light, just see what sort of a difference we can get just by moving Ashley back and forth in front of the softbox and also changing the distance between the softbox itself and our back wall. So distance is a big factor in determining the kind of mood and feel of the shots. So the further we move the light around to the side, the less light we're going to get on this side of Ashley, and therefore our mood gets quite darker. So Ashley, if you just step forward just a little bit. So we've got very little light on this side of Ashley's face. Step forward a little bit more. And the further she steps forward, the less light is able to kind of wrap around and fill in this shadow side. So I'm just going to do a few shots now just in those different positions, back and forth in front of the softbox, and just see what different result we can get. Right, so let's just start at the back edge of the softbox. And this is what we call feathering. So we're feathering the light in front of Ashley, so we don't want too much direct light hitting her. So I'm actually just going to pull this forward just a little bit more. So the light is basically just coming straight out in front here, and a little bit's bouncing off the internal baffle, this side of the softbox, coming through and lighting Ashley there. Ashley, can you look straight ahead to me? That's it. So with your left eye, this one, you can see the softbox, right? Just without looking at it. And if you step forward, you see much less of this softbox now. Step forward again. Now you can't see it at all. Yep. So that means there's no light hitting this side of your face. So we're getting very, very little wraparound now because you're so far forward. And that's going to give us basically split lighting right down the center of your face. This side's going to be nicely lit, this side's going to be really, really dark. So let's put that into practice. So step back to the very back edge, a little bit more. That's it. All right, let's see how much light we get wrapping around. I'd like to get you to step back just a little bit further. Touch more. Yep, that's it. Yeah, so we've got no direct light hitting you now, and that our exposure should be pretty good for that. Yeah, that's looking really nice. So if we zoom in on Ashley's face here, we can see that there's some really nice soft light coming across. And we've got a gradation on the background from dark to light as we go from left to right. And that's just the way that the softbox is lighting our background. It's quite nice actually. So the lighter side of her face is matched up next to the darker side of the background. And then vice versa on the right hand side, we've got the lighter part of the background matched up with the darker side of her hair there. So we're still getting some separation between the hair and the side of Ashley's face and the background, which is great. So it's a perfect sort of situation. And you can see down her body there, we've got a real nice shadow line, but there's not a lot of shadow. It's just sort of basically showing her shape. And actually, I'll just improve that shape a little bit more by just bringing that left foot forward and then dropping the knee right across. Keep going if you can. And just turning your hips a little bit more this way. That's it, perfect. And just squaring the shoulders a little bit more to me. That's it. Perfect. Excellent. So that just tapers your legs coming in. You can see that coming up on the screen there. As opposed to that was what our first shot was. Yeah. So that's great. So now we'll get you to come further forward. So right just to that, just on the touch of this back edge. So about there, yep. And still keeping the same kind of pose, looking straight ahead. Now, because we've got more of that direct light hitting her face here, I'm going to have to adjust my exposure a little bit. I was at 5.6, so I'm just going to stop down to 7.1. That should be about right to keep that nice exposure on the highlight side of her face. Excellent. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, still even a little bit bright there on your face. Just wait for that to load up. Just have a look at the back of the camera. Yeah, actually it's perfectly fine on the back of the camera. Just a little bit contrasty on my screen here. So 7.1 works well. And as you can see, now we're not getting really much light at all. We're wrapping around to that shadow side of Ashley's face. We've still got a little highlight, and you can see the softbox from there, can't you? Who's looking forward, you can see this kind of edge here. Yep, so that's the part that's giving that little bit of highlight just on that left eye, Ashley's left eye. And if we come forward a little bit more, so now you probably can't see that softbox much at all, can you? No. So now we're gonna have a look and see what we get. That's good. Yeah, nice and contrasty. Split lighting right down the center, so we've got no highlight in your eye. And not much of a highlight in your right eye either, just on the very edge of your pupil. And I've just noticed I've got a nice dust spot on my camera, which I'll have to clean later at stage. So obviously this split lighting doesn't look great for, especially for a gorgeous young woman like Ashley. It really suits a man to bring out some nice contrast and texture in the face. But we basically want a lot softer light for Ashley. But what we're going to do now is get her to turn into the light, so facing this way, yep. And yeah, drop that hair across. Obviously we're at the wrong side for our light for your hair. But we want you kind of looking, yeah, just there, basically. Just take your shoulders back a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. So I've turned Ashley into the light, and I'll get you to just bring that hand up a little bit. Yep, that's it. And the other one a bit higher on your hip. That's it. And just turn away a little bit further. That's it, just there. So we're going for a profile shot now. So we're getting a nice moody profile shot. Ashley's face is lit nicely, because now we've got the light hitting directly onto her nose. But the other side, the shadow side, is going quite deep into shadow, but we've still got some separation because we've got the light hitting our background. Because we haven't changed the distance between the light source and the background, so that's stayed exactly the same. All we've done is move Ashley in front of the softbox, and then creating a lot more contrast as she moves forward. So let's exaggerate this even more. So come right to the front edge, actually just keep coming. Yep, just about there. So now you're basically the other extreme. Before we started you on the back edge of the softbox where there wasn't any direct light hitting you. Now we're on the front edge. Again, we've got very little direct light hitting you. You can actually come a touch forward. Yep, just there, leaning kind of forward a little bit, and then turning your face. That's it. So just brush the hair back a little bit off your face. That's it. So I'm going to come in for a tighter kind of portrait. Just bring your eyes back around here, but turning your face a little bit further away. That's it, just there. Yeah, great. For a tight shot. Cool. So now we've got a really, really moody shot. got the nice catch light in your left eye. And we're holding the detail in your skin. But we've got a lot of shadow everywhere else. So we've got a really nice low-key profile shot there. And we haven't changed the light at all. We've just moved Ashley further in front of the softbox. All right, let's just play a little bit more with some posing. So go back to the back edge. Actually, what I'll do now is bring in a reflector so we can see the difference. So come into kind of the, yep, there's good. I'll grab my reflector. Okay, so I've just brought in the reflector, putting it on the opposite side to our light source. So we've got some light bouncing back across and filling in the shadow side of Ashley. So let's take a shot now. Just again, bringing it leg across, knee across. That's it, perfect. Don't fall over on your heels. Let's have a look at that shot. So shot on the left is without the reflector, shot on the right is with the reflector. Zoom in. Got a little bit of fill just on the side of the face, but where we really notice it is on the hair. So let's do a couple more shots. Yeah, same sort of thing. Actually, I'll just get you a step back just a tiny bit. Yep, just there. All right. Just bring your arms in like that. That's nice. Just turning your shoulders this way a little bit and face back to me. Touch. That's it. It's really nice. So I'll just experiment now, bringing this reflector in really nice and tight and close. Okay, one little tip just with your hand. It's never a good idea to show fully the back of the hand or the palm of the hand. So it's always the side. Yeah, that's it, perfect. Just like that, nice and soft. And just tilt it back towards you that way a little bit, not too much. That's it. Okay, so that's good. Let's try that. Yeah, it's beautiful. The other thing is with the bottom hand, see how your fingers are kind of sticking out past your hand there? So yeah, just tuck that back into your body. That's better. Good. This time I'll get you to turn your shoulders back this way. So turning this way, yep, but bringing your face back to your shoulder. That's it, lovely. So I'm gonna do this shot with and without the reflector. So starting with, again, just turn that hand in, that's it. Great. Looking at me, that's it. All right, so there's a shot with the reflector. Now I'm actually just gonna spin that around and introduce the black side, so it's gonna absorb any light and not actually bounce it back. So we should get a really dark, contrasty look now on Ashley. So on that shadow side, that's great, perfect, just looking right there. Excellent. All right, let's compare those last two shots. Okay, there we go. So with the reflector on the left and without the reflector on the right. So with the actual absorber. So massive difference. So we go from a fairly evenly lit, sort of what I call a mid-key shot. We've got a decent amount of shadow in the background, but not overly shadowy. And then to a really quite low-key shot on the right-hand side there. Let's play a little bit more with that absorber. Just gonna put it about there. Yeah, still keep on facing that side. And yeah, dropping that right foot and knee across here, so we get some really nice shape. So really punch that hip out that way That's it, and then kind of leaning forward a little bit, and then just face to here. That's it, excellent. So that should give us some really lovely shape. Just bring that hand back to the shoulder a little bit more. That's it. Just gonna step a little bit wider for this shot. And from this angle. So see the background change between these shots, and that's all due to me changing my own angle rather than Ashley changing her angle. So I've introduced a little bit more of the dark side of the background just by stepping across this way. If I go the other direction, so same pose, thank you Ashley. And I'm going to step across this way a little bit, get you to bring your chin to shoulder, that's it. Excellent. Yep, so now I've changed my angle just by stepping across this way and looking back to that direction. And yeah, we're getting a much different result to what we had before. Very, very dark and moody background. And now we've just lightened that tone up a little bit, lightened the mood up a little bit through just changing my angle by a couple of feet, a couple of steps. So there we go.